Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण श्री राम 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 हरे कृष्ण श्री राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण श्री राम 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 हरे कृष्ण श्री राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण श्री राम 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 हरे कृष्ण श्री राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण श्री राम 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 हरे कृष्ण Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Krishna Shri Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Shri
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayadmudirahe. Nasta Praeshu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Noistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 12, text number 29. The chapter is titled The Creation of the Kumaras and Others. Tam adharme kitah matim vilokya pitaram sutta marichi mukhiya munaya vishrambhat pratyo buddhyam. Tam adharme kitah matim vilokya pitaram sutta marichi mukhiya munaya vishrambhat pratyo ubadaya. Tam adharme kita mati vilokya pitaram sutta marichi mukhaya munaya vishrambhat prataya ubadhayan. Word by word synonyms. Tam, unto him. Adharme, in the matter of immorality. Kritamatim, the mind being so given. Vilokya, seeing thus. Pitaram, onto the father. Sutaha, sons. Marichi Mukhayaha, headed by Marichi. Muneyaha, sages. Vishrambhat, with due respect. Pratyaya Obadhayan, submitted as follows. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Thus, finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect. Purport. The sages like Marichi were not in the wrong in submitting their protest against the acts of their great father. They knew very well that even though their father committed a mistake, there must have been some great purpose behind the show. Otherwise, such a great personality could not have committed such a mistake. It might be that Brahma wanted to warn his subordinates about human frailties in their dealings with women. This is always very dangerous for persons who are on the path of self-realization. Therefore, great personalities like Brahma, even when in the wrong, should not be neglected, nor could the great sages headed by Marichi show any disrespect because of his extraordinary behavior. Om Agnanatimindasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmetan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sijita Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikakanta Radhakanto Namastute Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Mancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavane Bhayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Binda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nam adharme kitamatim vilokya pitaram sutaha marichi mukhaya munayo Vishram bhat pratyobodhayan. Thus finding their father so deluded in an act of immorality, the sages headed by Marichi, all sons of Brahma, spoke as follows with great respect. So we see in this particular section, this incident is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Amala Puranam, to give us some instructions. Right? That here is Lord Brahma, who was in one sense our Sampradaya Acharya. We are from the Brahma Madha Gaudiya Sampradaya. Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, means Lord, in whose heart the Lord gave the instruction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, gave him instructions right within his heart. And he goes on with his prescribed duty of creation, secondary creation, and he's creating initially the four Kumaras for increasing the population to be the progenitors. And the four Kumaras say, oh no, we're not interested in increasing the population. We want to remain celibate. And then we see he becomes angry from his anger itself. Rudra was born, right? And then we have the 11 Rudras and now and the offsprings from that. And they are destructive in nature. So then he creates more further progenitors. And we see from his different parts, different numbers. Angani Yashasana, just like the Supreme Lord, from his different parts, he can perform all different tasks. Similarly, Lord Brahma could also perform different tasks from his different parts of his body. He can create offsprings just from his mind, Manashiputra. Right? And we see different offsprings all the way to Narad Muni are born. And then this incident is mentioned about how Maitra Muni also, while mentioning this incident, he's mentioning it very respectfully. That we have heard, that in the previous verse we see, we have heard that Brahma in one of the kalpa, not in this present kalpa, became attracted to his own daughter Vak. And how to address that attraction or that act of immorality is shown in this particular verse, where his offsprings, which are sages, headed by sage Marichi, approaches him. How not to address was also exemplified by Marichi's sons, right? When they saw the grandfather from Lord Brahma in this act of him being attracted to his own daughter, they laughed. Right? They laughed in sarcasm. And they were cursed to be born as demons. Ultimately, they took birth as sons of Hiranyakakshipu. Later on, those 6 sons of Hiranyakakshipu were transferred by Yoga Maya to be the sons of Kalanemi. And Hiranyakakshipu became angry. He even cursed them that, oh, one time you'll be killed by your own father. And that happened. Where those same 6 sons of Kalanemi were then born as sons of Devki. Right, as sons of Devki. And Kalanemi now as Kansha kills those 6 sons. Right. So how not to approach an issue like that is shown by that example of the sons of Marichi. But how properly to approach an incident like that is shown by Marichi. He is approaching with due respect. The word used here is Vishrambhat, like sons, when they become elder, they become friends of the father, out of friendship, out of with full faith, out of due respect. Vishrambhat, Marichi is approaching, right? With he's approaching with great respect. That means how this kind of act, which was never done before, right, and will now be done. You were involved in, and it does not befit your position. Though out of he knew that there must be a great purpose behind this, right? But at the same time, yad yad achati shrestha tat tat avataro janaha. Whatever great man performs, a common man follow. Right. So with that in mind, Marichi is approaching. Submitting the protest of all the sages against that act. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport very nicely mentions that they knew very well that even though their father committed a mistake, there must have been some great purpose behind the show. Right. Great purpose behind the show. Where Lord Brahma is warning against this all-devouring enemy, lust. In Bhagavad Gita, we hear again and again, Kamesha, Krodesha, Rajaguna, Samudbhava. Right. Or the words where it's mentioned, Trividam Narakayedam. Right. Dwaram Nasanam Atmanaha, Kama Krodha Tata Lobha. Kama Krodha Tata Lobha. Tasmat Etam Trayam Tajet. Kama Krodha Tata Lobha. This lust, anger, greed are the three gateways to hell. Trividam Narakayedam. Gateways to hell. Right. How for a self-realized soul, one need to be always watchful to control them. Now, Narottam Das Thakur later on, he mentions in his prayers how to control them. Whether lust can be engaged in the service of the Lord. Right. That whatever activities you perform it for the Supreme Lord. Yad karosi yadasnasi, yad josi dadasi yad. Anger, vacho vegam, manasya krodha vegam. Right, in that verse of Upadeshamrita, nectar of instruction is mentioned how anger can be used also in the service of the Lord. Right. Where Hanumanji uses anger in the service of the Lord. He burns entire Lanka. Right. Anger used in the service of the Lord. Right. Same way, greed can also be used in the service of the Lord. Right. Where instead of being greedy of material possessions, we become greedy of service to the Supreme Lord. We become greedy. That I want to hear more and more the topics of the Supreme Lord. I want to hear more and more the holy name of the Supreme Lord. And very nicely it's mentioned that these enemies, when lust and his friends hear the word Govinda, they immediately begin to flee, as a herd of elephant flees when it hears a lion's roar. Right. So lust and his enemies, these anarthas, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Matsarya, all of them flee when one chants Govinda. Just like elephants flee when they hear the roar of a lion. So, a person in the path of self-realization has to be always be watchful against these enemies. Right? Always be watchful against these enemies. Always take association of devotees of the Supreme Lord and perform devotional service. Then these enemies are at bay. And if not, Dhyata Visham Pumsham, we keep our mind idle for a moment, away from the Lord. It starts contemplating on sense objects. Sangat teshu upajayate. No. Sangat sanjayate kaman, kaman krodha abhijayate. Contemplating on the sense objects, we start thinking, oh, how can I enjoy that sense object? From that, lust arises and is never fulfilled. Right? And from that, anger arises. Krodha bhavati sammoha, it becomes so deep-rooted that a person is in a state of delusion, right? Not even illusion, delusion, which is much more deep-rooted, right? Sammoha smriti vibrama, memory is lost. Smriti vibrama buddhi nasat, intelligence is lost. Like here the incident is given, that oh, he's attracted to his own daughter, Vak, right? So how careful a person in the path of devotional service one needs to be, not to be alone in a secluded place with opposite gender, right? That even a person in the path of self-realization could get no, diverted, could become attracted. And here, Lord Brahma, as Srila Prabhupada so nicely mentions in his purport, for higher purpose is establishing this principle. It might be that Brahma wanted to warn his subordinates about human frailties in their dealings with the women. Right? It's always very dangerous for persons who are on the path of self-realization. Always very dangerous. Right? It can be taken as opposite gender. A man could unnecessarily become attracted, like in this case, Lord Brahma, to opposite gender, or similarly, women could unnecessarily be attracted to men. So, a person on the path of self-realization needs to be very, very careful. Right. And another message which we get from this incident is how to approach issues like this. Right? As I was mentioning about how not to approach. Normal tendency is the moment we see something like that, either we start laughing or now we have this wonderful internet. We try to put it on the social media. Our foolishness, right? Our fault-finding tendency, immediately we want to project it on social media so that others can also see our true nature. But we think that, oh, no, I'm showing somebody else's weakness. But ultimately, they are showing their true nature. Right? But they try to project it on the internet. Right? How I can bring a person in repute down. Right? That's how a person who has no idea of dealing with situations deal with. Here, Maitreya Muni is dealing it with so much caution that, oh, we have heard. Marichi, his son, is dealing it with so much caution. Vishnu Bhat, with due respect. Not that he becomes angry. Oh, father, how can you do this? No, with due respect. He's approaching the issue. So it teaches us how to approach issues like that. Right. There's so many teachings comes out of these incidents. Lord Brahma is uh, showing us by his own example that how one should deal uh, and be careful of dealing with opposite gender. Marichi is showing us how to approach this issue with saintly persons involved in some form of uh, act which uh, in ordinary vision could be termed as immoral. Right. How those approaches, no, means how it could be respectfully brought forward. And when it is not respectfully brought forward, we see from examples of sons of Marichi that ultimately, then Hari Kishore Prabhu mentioned examples of Chitraketu yesterday, how Mother Parvati ultimately becomes angry at him when she takes birth as Brikashur. Right. So one should not look at saintly sadhus with ordinary eyes, saying, "Oh, see." Otherwise, it's like Ramchandra Puri's mentality. Oh, see, those ants are crawling outside where Mahaprabhu's hermitage is because Mahaprabhu is eating lots of sweets. Right. And when it comes for him to serve his spiritual master, right, Madhavendra Puri, right, Ramchandra Puri, there also he is finding fault with his own spiritual master. While Ishwarapuri is serving his spiritual master, even in his final stages, menial service. Right. And ultimately, he becomes a recipient of the mercy of the spiritual masters, causeless mercy, that he becomes a spiritual master of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So many lessons, and that's why an incident like that even makes way into right in Srimad Bhagavatam to give us teachings. Are there any discussions, questions?
Thank you so much, Madhupal Prabhu. A wonderful class, giving out the points, instruction for us to carry on. Yeah, many examples. Yeah, Daksha also we see that in the attitude of fault finding carried on to all the way into Narada Muni. He criticized and cursed Narada Muni. So Prabhupada is mentioning this character of fault finding is going on even further. Even though Lord Shiva has given him blessing, got him back with Godhead, but still it didn't come out from his heart fully. So we see many examples like this. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Shachimata had a question.
Yeah. I see that in the chat, Mataji had a question. Is there any example in the scriptures of lust being used in the service of the Lord? Just like anger is used by Hanumanji. So lust being used in the service of the Lord, lust means what? We have desire to enjoy. That's lust. Desire to enjoy separately from the Lord. So that desire, how can we dottle it? That desire we can total it by serving the Lord. By serving the Lord. In our mode of passion, we want to earn and earn and earn for our own enjoyment. The same earnings, we can use it for the service of the Lord. Then you are totaling your lust in the service of the Lord. Right. The lust is transformed to love. Right. We see the gopis. Right. They also sing the Lord as paramount. But they're transforming that completely into love. Amritananda Prabhu gave an example in the chat about Bilva Mangal Thakur. Here is another example where out of lust, complete lust, he's attracted to Chintamani, the prostitute. And Chintamani is guiding him to the Supreme Lord. Right? That if you have so much lust for enjoying me, why not use all that in the service of the Lord? And then he completely becomes focused in serving the Supreme Lord. Is that all right? Sachimata, Amritananda Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you. Haribo.
Okay, thank you. Another discussions we can take into Nityam Bhagavata Sevya group. It's already 7:01. Thank you. Thank you. We'd like to wish you all a very safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. Today is Dwadasi. The breaking fast time is 7:19 to 10:30 a.m. And today is also a very auspicious day of Makara Sankranti. Right? Different parts celebrated in different ways. The part where I'm coming from, it is celebrated by flying kites. But very important day where the sun starts going in the northern direction. Right. From Dakshinayana, it becomes Uttarayana. Right. It's in the northern direction. It's considered very, very auspicious that Bhishma Pitamaha wanted to wait for that particular time before he departs. It's a very auspicious day. Different parts. It's also celebrated by making pongal or tilgul or chikki, offered to the Lord. Govinda is also offering chikkis, peanuts and sesame this weekend. So yeah. Okay, this is a very auspicious day. We'll offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting 3 times. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Narsingha,
Jai Narsingha,
Jai
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 Narsingha, Jai Jai
Kutla,
Narsingha Deva, Karanandesha, Jai Padma Mukha Padma,
Padma Brainum.
Ugravinam,
Ugram
Ugraveram
Biram Vishnu
Jayantam
Jalantam
Sarvatomukam
Sarvotamam
Narasimham Vishnu
Ishanam
Padram
Badram Mrityum
Murtyu Namamyam
Ham
Nrsimha Bhagwan ki Jai,
Ki
Jai
Jai,
Maharaj
Ki
ki
Jai.
Jai.
Let us offer our humble obeisances of all the assembled Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataru
Panchakalpatarubhasya Kripa
Sindhu
Sindhavavesha
Vacha
Patitanam
Pavanebhyo
Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah
Om Namaha.
Vaishnavinda
Jai,
ki Jai,
Jai.
Bhagavatam ki Jai,
Jai,
Prabhupada ki
Ki Jai.
Jai.
Krishna Prabhu, again today is Friday, so is there any other announcement for Sunday? Who is the speaker in the morning?
Yeah, Sunday morning is Zorana Chandramouli Swami Maharaj for speaking on the Bhishma Pitama prayers.
Very
So
good.
to the Makar Sankranti aspect. 8 to 9.
8 to 9, Sunday morning. So have a wonderful weekend also. We won't be meeting tomorrow. Govinda
Sponsors. Today's sponsors are there, Prabhu. Today Rajbhog sponsored by Ritesh Prabhu and Archana Mataji for mother-in-law passed away yesterday. I think Shail Prasad Mataji, let's bless her also. And then this breakfast is sponsored by Jagadish Yama Prabhu and family. Today morning breakfast. So today is the day where everybody offers new things. If you look at Mahaprabhu's pastime, also huge pastime is there. How Sachi Mata served Mahaprabhu. That festival is also around this time, Sankranti, Magamas. So very, very auspicious. Please come and take darshan of the Supreme Lord and offer whatever you like to do. So that will be the best thing for all of us.
Also, you can chant like yesterday was also a very big day, Ekadasi, where I was hearing from Arjuna Gopi Mother. It's very special in South. It's a big Ekadasi.
Correct. Yeah.
When they did the entire chanting of Bhagavad Gita yesterday in front of the Lord. Okay.
One comment about Makar Sankranti also. Today is the day, as you mentioned, sun is changing direction. So it's also explained today is we should be grateful to sun every day, but especially today, if we see the sun rising from the horizon and pay our gratitude for giving us heat, giving us light, giving us wisdom. And I was hearing that one of the purpose of flying kite, because I was big into flying kites, but I never understood before that one of the reason is you fly kites because your head will see upwards to see the sun and be very grateful to what sun has given to all of us. He gives us life. So just wanted to share that.
Very good. Very nice.
Also today, Bhagirath brought Ganga Mata on the earth also. So appearance of Ganga.
Yeah. Entire pastime of Bhagirath, son of Dilipa, Prince of Anshuman, holding Ganges. Well, he's bringing, Lord Shiva is holding Ganges on his head, and then he's bringing on earth because of his prayers to deliver the sons, his ancestors of King Shagara. Very nice, wonderful.
Prabhu, the prasad from Govindas is offered, so you can't offer it to the home deities, right?
Yeah, we can keep some separate for your offering to the home deities. Jai Prakash Prabhu is making specially today those chickies, so you can pass on the message to Jai Prakash Prabhu. Oh, keep one packet separately for me, directly to offer.
What time it will be ready by, Prabhu?
Jai Prakash Prabhu.
It will be done by 12.
Oh, great. Okay, I'll swing by the temple later.
We can meet. We're starting at 10.
Prabhu, I'm at work. During a
Hari
lunch break, I'm
Bol,
thinking of
sorry.
coming.
Yeah, no problem.
Mentally, I'll be there.
Hari Bol. No problem.